Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare Mode run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing the Jack, because the Jack is one of the most powerful and most fun characters in the game. It's one of my favorites, and I felt like just doing a super fun run, so we're going to play the Jack today. And I want to clean up, of course, all of the characters I haven't beaten on both maps yet, so we can get those red borders. We're going to go with railguns for the Jack. I've already done this run previously, but railgun has received some major changes since then, and I think it's a pretty interesting weapon for the Jack. It's a little easier to avoid taking damage on this character, because there's fewer enemies on the field, so less that you have to think about when you're dodging. Which is pretty nice for railgun, and the fact that it scales off dodge lets us get defensive stats, which the character normally doesn't. I'm going to take attack speed here. That's by far the most important stat for railgun, way more important than dodge or anything else. Now, we'll buy the railgun here. Amazing shop. Feather scales the damage of railgun a lot, because you get the damage from the ranged damage, and because it scales with your dodge, and Feather gives you both stats. Let's roll here. We'll buy another railgun, and we'll roll again, and lock another one. Now, I don't think that this is the best weapon for the character or anything. In fact, I think you're probably much better off going with lasers or revolvers in order to play the Jack, but it's a pretty powerful weapon, and it's fun and different from the other guns because it scales off of a defensive stat. You end up with some of the strongest late game in the game because being able to scale your weapon off of dodge means that you inevitably become really tanky in the end game. Yeah, we'll take the insanity, and then here I'll take 3 dodge. I want attack speed more, but we'll take the dodge when it shows up, and then I will roll and roll again. I missed a couple times. Do I take some % damage or harvesting or something? I think I'll do one more reroll, and wow, I'm glad I did, because we got 10 attack speed. And then we'll roll. So this is also an interesting spot. I have a level 2 railgun locked. I could reroll. There's a chance that we see a level 1 railgun in the shop. I could also buy one of these items and then reroll. And for 3, seeing 1 open economy slot and 1 open weapon slot, I think is fine. So I think what we're going to do here is we'll buy the tree, more likely to give us an economy bonus next wave, and then we'll do a reroll, hoping to see a railgun here. I didn't, but we could just ban hedgehog. We don't want to buy ranged damage on this weapon usually, because it's more efficient to buy dodge. I often get the question about why it's more efficient to buy dodge. Because obviously we get, at level 1, 80% range damage scaling and only 30% dodge scaling, so it sounds like you're getting more damage from ranged damage, but you have to remember the amounts that you buy those stats in. A level 2 level up, for example, gives you 2 ranged damage or 6 dodge. So it's just better to build dodge for the character, because not only is it more damage per attack on your weapon than buying ranged damage, it also gives you dodge, and dodge is a great stat when you get it without having to buy it specifically, and this character gets to buy it for free by having it also increase your weapon damage. We'll take the coupon here, buy the railgun, buy the feather, and we'll roll again, lock a railgun, buy a bag, and lock a baby squid. I already have a weapon locked, so no need to reroll. We can ban pencil here, and then go to wave 4. And then we'll be able to get our 6th weapon, which is great. That'll give us the full heavy weapon tag, and also the gun weapon tag. Railgun does want you to actually build some range. Less important for the Jack, but still pretty helpful, because you don't want to take any hits when you're using this weapon, and most characters it's more efficient to take the occasional hit and heal it up than to try to take 0 hits, but with railgun you lose your damage if you do that, so you want to buy range to prevent enemies from ever possibly hitting you in the first place. We'll take the cake here. When you get a +2 range damage upgrade like this, you can take it. I could also take the harvesting, but we're playing the Jack. This character's economy is so strong just from the extra material drops from enemies that I think we're better off just focusing on increasing our damage and survivability. I'll buy the railgun upgrade here. Injection, I do want more % damage, so we'll take that as well. And then we'll go to wave 5. The Cursed Vorpal Sword would have been fun in a different run, but it's not what we're doing in this one. And that's not a good enough weapon to mix into a completely unrelated weapon set. You know, if we were building like a melee medieval sort of build, then we would have been very happy to see it, but it's not something that you want to just randomly throw into a gun build. There are very few melee weapons that are good enough to just randomly add to a ranged build. There are a few more ranged weapons that are good enough to randomly add to a melee build, but still not that many. I'll take 10 harvesting here, and then we'll take 6 max HP so we don't get one shot. We'll buy railgun, injection, and feather. Great finds. We'll roll here. I'll take a whistle as well. We can buy the injection again. It does cost me HP, but increasing our damage is important. Ban the goat skull, and then do a reroll. Alright, so I'm going to buy all of these. Lumberjack shirt is really nice for the Jack because the Jack's increased enemy health does apply to trees, so being able to one-tap those saves you a lot of attacks. Do I want to take the bag? If I had 52 materials, I would buy bag and lumberjack shirt. I think as is, though... Now, I'll just take the bag. I'm feeling lucky. I feel like I can get a crate and get the money back, and I don't think I'm going to need the extra weapon to clear. The downside of that is that with a railgun locked in the shop, I can't roll another one. We can't find another level 1 railgun, and we would be very happy to find another level 1 railgun. But we no longer are at the point where we're guaranteed to see weapons every wave. That the last wave for that is the wave 5 shop. So I think we can afford to take the bag here, and we made 15 materials back immediately, so seems like a reasonable decision. I will take one good ranged level up if I see one. Like if we get a plus 45 level up, that's not against much. I'm going to recycle the Tyler. We're not really interested in non-weapon sources of damage. We just want to increase our weapon damage. I'll take 6 HP so I don't get one shot, and then we'll take 15 attack speed. I could roll for dodge as well, but my attack speed is feeling a little low. We'll buy railgun, lumberjack shirt, and tree. Even though it gives stats that we want, and we do want these stats, lowering your armor with Gummy Berserker is almost always wrong, so we're just going to recycle that. I will take a black belt. I do want more XP gain. Do I want the ugly tooth? It can be okay against the bosses. Keep them off of me for a little bit longer. And since my movement speed is now pretty negative, we're going to buy Terrified Onion as well to try to fix it. We can just ban Scared Sausage. That's not what we're doing with this run. And then we'll take a bag and a baby gecko. I'll pick up Clockwork Wasp as well. It's an inefficient way to buy movement speed, but we really need movement speed. I need that to be positive before we go into a boss fight. All right, finally found another railgun. I do feel like we can get away with the bait this wave. Yes, we're going to take some hits, probably, from the lampreys, and that will lower my railgun charge. Actually, we didn't, because there were only 2 spawns. I was expecting 3. On the Jack, you either get 2 or 3, usually, when you buy bait, and 3 is a lot harder to take no hits from. One thing we haven't found is any increased enemy spawns, which are really powerful on this character, since they increase your income proportionally by a vastly larger amount. So anything that we could find in that respect would be really good. But we made 400 materials last wave, so I certainly can't complain. All right, I'll take the move speed here, and then I can probably avoid, and then we'll take the dodge. That's awesome. Now I don't need the Clockwork Wasp, so I don't have to buy it here. I will take a railgun and a bait. I think I'm just rolling past those items. We did find the Gentle Alien, So this is exactly what we're looking for. Increasing my percent damage, giving me some more max HP, but most importantly, giving us 5% more enemies. With the Jack, you have minus 70% enemies for a total of 30% by default. So a 5% increase is a 1/6 increase in the number of enemies that spawn and the amount of money that you make. So the Gentle Alien, already a great item, becomes an incredible item for this character. In practice, the number isn't quite that high because of enemy spawn groups and stuff, but it's still a huge increase. I'm going to ban the ball and chain here. Our weapons already attack faster than the minimum, and we get a free reroll. We'll take a metal plate, and I guess I'll take the insanity. Crit chance is fine on this weapon. Peaceful Bee is damage positive for the railgun, because we lose a ranged damage but gain 4 dodge, so it actually increases our per shot damage. I guess I'll buy the plant, and then I will reroll. I will take a glasses here, because while glasses is a truly horrible way to buy range, it's so expensive for such a tiny amount of a weak stat. Range is actually pretty important to this weapon, so we're going to invest in it a little bit. Also, that bait, we got 3 aliens, one of them spawned cursed, so that was a much more dangerous bait than the previous one we had gotten. Also, you have to be careful with the blobfish. When you kill them with a ranged weapon, they still spawn 2 lampreys, which is the same amount as you would get from killing them with a melee weapon on a normal character. So you definitely can get in trouble if you clear them at the wrong moment with a ranged weapon on the Jack. Turret will recycle. Here, I'm going to reroll that and reroll again. I was looking for dodge or attack speed, and we found some dodge. We'll go ahead and buy these items. So Baby Gecko gives us half as much range, but also the Baby Gecko effect. So that's pretty nice. Take a railgun, take the cake. Roll, Clover, Incredible. Fixes our luck completely and gives us dodge, which, again, increases our damage output enormously. Do I want the snail? Slowing enemies can be pretty good for the Jack, because it just lets you focus down the really high health enemies a little more easily. And the Jack also is a really high economy character, right? Especially because we found a Gentle Alien. So I think we can get away with the snail here. I have to be really careful this wave, because the hatchers will create tons of enemies if we let them, all of which have vastly increased health and damage. And then also the enhanced vampire squids are incredibly dangerous to any character. They have tons of health and move really fast, and on the Jack, that health is increased. Got a very fast loot alien kill there. I actually thought I was going to take that hit, so I'm glad I didn't, because I would have lost my railgun damage bonus. There I took the hit and lost my damage bonus, and now I have to be pretty careful for the rest of the wave. It's very easy to die as soon as you take your first hit on this weapon, because all of your math is thrown off, since you suddenly are doing like a third of the damage that you were doing before. I wanted more dodge. We do want to hit dodge cap pretty quickly and keep building up railgun damage. And then we'll buy another one, buy a snail. We'll roll here. I don't want the acid. It costs dodge. I could buy scope. It increases our per shot damage a little bit. I mean, almost the same amount that it normally would for a ranged weapon. Gives us range, but costs attack speed. I think that's just too bad. We'll buy fishhook for sure. We'll roll here. We will pick up some move speed. Roll again. Buy a railgun. Buy a duct tape. Gambling token is great, increasing our damage output by a lot. I will take the saltwater as well. Removes a level 2 item from the pool, and even 3% attack speed is relevant. And then All of these items, unfortunately, are bad for us, so I'm going to roll here, and we'll hope to lock something better with our fishhook. These two we're definitely locking, and I already have +2 consumable heals, so I think we can lock the alien worm as well. I do need to fix my max HP. We're currently in, like, one-shot range from the elite if it attacks us through our dodge, because it has the increased damage that the Jack gives everything, and our armor's really bad. So I need some HP and armor. Dodge, of course, is a good defensive stat, but you need HP and armor to back it up, since it multiplies the value of those stats significantly. And dodge isn't reliable, so you don't want to rely on it. As always, of course, if you're just looking to maximize your win chance, you should buy Not here. It completely fixes the problems that this build has by giving us 15 more health and everything, and would just let us win very easily. But we're looking to have fun, so we're gonna not buy it there. We'll take the attack speed, and then we will re-roll. Take 9 dodge, incredible. Fishhook, of course, perfect fishhook performance for this channel. I could buy the bat and get a reroll here, and that's not terrible, but I think I'm just going to roll. I do have 16 regen, so I could buy the weird ghost, but we're going into an elite wave. If it wasn't an elite wave, I probably would buy it. We'll take Lost Duck and Helmet. I could buy the mirror just to see if we can copy something good, but I don't usually like buying mirror just purely on spec, because you have to roll into something good to copy with mirror before you roll into something else that you want. I mean, we'd have been okay copying Gentle Alien here, but, you know, we'd be spending twice as much for the same item. I'll take the padding because I do need more max HP, and then I will roll here. I'm going to buy these 2 items. Do I want to mirror one of them? I think not. I think I'm just going to buy those 2, and then roll again. Can't be the king of Brotato without one of these, so we'll buy the crown, and then I will do one more reroll. My armor is atrocious, but I do want more % damage, and you need to front load your damage on Railgun and on the Jack to kill enemies before they have a chance to attack you. So I think it is worth it to do that. I also am over dodge cap now. This elite is really hard not to take hits from, so we're probably going to be losing our railgun bonus a couple times during this fight. We only lost it once as it happened, but that's probably the hardest elite for a railgun build. I do have to be really careful with the cursed enemies, of course. We're going to run over towards the red crate if I need it, because I took that hit from the cursed goblin shark. And that also reduced my railgun damage. Yeah, some sloppy movement from me this wave has put me in more danger than I should be in. That % dodge, meaning that our damage didn't reset, was pretty nice. Yeah, we'll take the panda, then I'm not going to get one shot. Metal detector, I'm going to recycle this. I don't love metal detector on nightmare mode because losing 5% damage is a pretty big cost. I'll roll here. We'll take the % damage. We'll buy the cursed crown. Incredible. Buy all of these items and re-roll. Take a mouse and a scar and roll. And I'm gonna we'll buy the penguin. I'm gonna pass on the rest of it because I'm really looking for, yeah, more railguns, more damage output, more dodge. And, of course, I need some armor, because I've reduced my armor to 0. Because I have Fishhook, and we're the Jack, so we have lots of money, I'm going to roll a couple more times to try to lock something else for the hook. So at this point, we're at dodge cap, so any dodge that I buy doesn't make us better defensively, but does still increase our weapon damage. And it's the most efficient way to do that. So basically we're buying dodge like another character would buy ranged damage. Also, I have increased enemy spawns quite a bit, so I think we can get 3 lampreys from the blobfish now. Because we have a mouse and 2 gentle aliens, so I think we can sometimes randomly hit 3 lampreys. So I have to be aware that that's a possibility. And with curse, of course, that's pretty dangerous, because if some of them spawn curse, that's a lot of damage. We'll buy the Lost Duck, I'll recycle this. I'll take the 12% damage, and then I'm going to take 3 armor here, because I had 0 armor still, which is horrible. Really sad that we didn't get anything cursed this wave. These would all have been great items to curse, but we're still just going to buy them all. Combine our weapons. I'll take Pumpkin. Railgun has natural piercing, and so Pumpkin increasing the piercing damage of the weapon is really good. We will keep leveling our railguns. Alien Baby can actually be pretty good for the Jack. It's plus 10% flat enemy health, so it goes from 175 to plus 185. So where for a normal character, it's a 10% increase in their health. For the Jack, it's like a 3% increase. And I think I am going to buy it here because going up to 81 health just makes us so much safer. We'll lock the cauldron. I have 1 engineering, so I think we'll pass on the nail. We're going to roll here, and we'll lock a helmet, and I'll roll again, because I want to lock stuff for the fish hook. So you can see that having bought that, I'm glad we got the dodge, because it meant that our damage output didn't reset. Though it did there. Of course, with a ranged weapon on the Abyss, we have to worry about the lampreys, we have to worry about the pufferfish explosions. So a lot of stuff I have to pay attention to this wave. Try to clear these buffing aliens as well before they put too much pressure on us. And we'll kill the Hatcher. Get the enhanced pufferfish kill. A lot of pufferfish explosions. All that audio at once is scary. I mean, I guess I'll take another vigilante ring. We'll take a tree. I don't really need the 12 max HP anymore, so I'm going to roll, and we'll take attack speed, and we'll take armor. We finally got some cursed items off the fishhook. Coupon, of course, is a massive discount now. The Cursed Cauldron, giving us a bunch of damage and 90% pickup radius, is pretty good. We'll buy the helmet, reroll here, buy a railgun. Do I want lifesteal? I guess I want both lifesteal and regen, so I'll take the fresh meat. Still not buying the mirror purely on spec. Coil is pretty nice, and this is an item that really benefits from getting cursed, but I think I'm just buying it here. I'll take the alien magic, giving me some more regen. I don't need more percent damage. We have way more than we have attack speed, and we're getting 6 every wave from the vigilante rings, so missile would be a bad trade for us. But we will buy... I think what I'm going to do here is buy the pumpkin. That gets my piercing damage to full on level 4 railguns, so I don't need to try to curse that. We'll try to curse the railgun, and then I will roll here as well. And I guess I'll lock a bone dice. I would buy it cursed. Taking that hit, of course, reset my damage gain. So I need to be a little careful, try to heal back to full. Then we'll focus on the elite. I will say we've gotten, I think, the 2 hardest elites on the Abyss for this build. Where it's just hard not to take hits from both of those. Really clean wave, though. I took the one hit, but then we survived. I'll take the alien tongue. Losing armor every wave is rough, but attack speed is really good. Range is really nice for this weapon, and we should be able to offset the penalty of the ashes. We're losing 5 armor, right? 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, which is a lot. That's going to put me down to 1 armor, but I still think it is worth taking. We'll take the improved tools. Okay, we got 4 armor. That helps mitigate that. Tragically, nothing got cursed. I'm going to not buy bone dice when it's not cursed. I'm going to roll here. We don't need another alien baby. I will take a bean teacher, and I think I'm just going to keep rolling. We'll buy a bait. We'll roll again. Blindfold. This is the type of item we're looking for, increasing our dodge, which, again, more base damage, and our crit chance, more multiplier on our damage. Buy the helmet. Roll again. I'm a little sad about my per hit damage, so I think I will buy the lens here, but not the scope. And then we'll roll and lock a railgun. Do I roll for 50 to try to lock something with fishhook? I think I do. Just one more thing. And you know what? I can try to curse all of these items. They're all fine if cursed. Alright, we got 4 lamprey spawns this time, because we've increased the number of enemy spawns. So our bait was more dangerous. I didn't think that was going to hit me, but we got a dodge anyways. Of course, one item that I'm really looking for is Ghost Outfit to boost my dodge to 70. We're also looking for Tardigrade, because then if an attack gets through my dodge, the first one that gets through doesn't cost us our railgun damage bonus. I need to clear the enhanced eggs. The hatchers are really dangerous for the Jack, and this is part of why the Abyss can be a struggle for this character. Not as bad as Crash Zone with the summoners, but still can be a challenge. Is that the hatchers still make a lot of eggs. Also, I still make the same amount of eggs, and so that can just be a ton of health to get through if you let those hatch. This was not an elite wave. We have 27 regen. Let's take an hourglass. We'll have fun with it. I'll take the alien tongue. We'll buy Schmoop. Take 4 armor. And then I'm gonna roll here. I could take the crit chance, but I think I just want dodge or attack speed. Maybe armor would be good as well. Yeah, I'll just take 4 armor. We will... Still didn't get a cursed railgun, but we'll upgrade. We'll buy the spyglass. We'll buy Peacock. It's fine to buy Peacock on an hourglass wave. Small fish, we're going to pass on because it's weak when it's not cursed. We'll roll here. I mean, let's just go nuts. We'll get as greedy as possible. We'll buy a starfish. We will buy Shady Potion and Railgun, and then roll. I still don't need another pumpkin. Oh, was this a bait wave? It was. So we will have the bait aliens at the start of this wave. So I need to be actually really careful there. Because, yeah, I forgot that this was a bait wave when I bought the hourglass. But the bait aliens will still spawn. So we're going to back off into the corner here and clear the lampreys while we wait to regen. I'm still at one-shot range from most of the dangerous enemies in this wave. We were lucky in that we got no cursed lamprey spawns off the bait. I still would have bought the hourglass, but I definitely should have thought about that being a bait wave. I'm glad I remembered it before jumping into the wave, though, because getting surprised by a bunch of lamprey spawns is one of the easiest ways to lose a run. When you don't know they're coming, they're a lot more dangerous, because you'll just get surrounded by a bunch of spawns you thought were safe, and then they'll charge and kill you. But we made it through. Cyberball, I guess I'll take when it shows up in a box. We'll take some health here. I'm going to pick up some lifesteal. I want more healing. We'll take the dodge, and then I will reroll that. Reroll again, and we'll take 5 regen. We'll buy another bait. We'll take wings, because the move speed is good, and again, the range is relevant, at least, to this character. And I'm going to buy Lens to kind of offset the Lucky Charm that I'm also going to buy. We'll take this shop and roll. Roll again. Baby with a beard, we haven't been building ranged damage, so it doesn't really do much for us. And of course, on the Jack, there's fewer enemies. Now, Celery Tea is kind of interesting for the Jack. It's similar to the Alien Baby that we bought earlier, in that it's additive, extra enemy health, instead of multiplicative. So it takes the enemies from plus 175, or in our case, plus 185, up to plus 285. So again, for most characters, this doubles enemy health. For our purposes, it's only plus 1/3. That being said, that's still pretty dangerous, and we're going into the end game, so I think we'll pass on the Celery Tea. I don't need another Lucky Charm. I'm going to roll here. I will take a... Do I even need the Weird Food? I don't really want to reduce my dodge, but it is such a good item. I think we'll buy it anyways. And then I'll lock Glasses and roll, lock another Weird Food, and go to wave 16. Basically, if I tank a hit, yes, it reduces my damage by a bit, but if I tank a hit, it makes it so much faster to get back to full health, to have extra consumable healing. I know they wanted something clear that, you know, clearly states what the stat does for consumable healing, but I wish they had chosen less of a mouthful. You know, something like hunger for the name of the stat. But one thing that that Brotato does do really well is all of the stats are pretty intuitive as to what they do just from reading the name. Except for Curse, which is a DLC stat. So you don't want to mess with that too much. We'll recycle the Snowball. I'll take Mutation when it shows up in a box. We'll take Leather Vest, of course. This would have been a spot to take maybe 45 range earlier if I still needed the range, but we have plus 200, so I'm going to roll here. We'll take 5 regen. We'll take 12 dodge, just increasing the base damage of our weapons. We will buy this whole shop, roll again, buy a duct tape, and buy a helmet. I don't need the goblet, and it's a lot worse for this character with fewer enemies on the field. So that was not an elite wave, and I can't remember if it was a bait wave. But, I mean, I will buy the second hourglass. Community support, of course, much worse for the Jack, since there's fewer enemies. We'll buy the metal here and roll, and then we'll take a Peaceful Bee as well. Roll again, and I will take an exoskeleton. I'll lock Whetstone, and I guess I'll lock Head Injury. Again, we have Fishhook, so we want to lock stuff. Okay, so I'm going to be prepared for a bait wave, whether or not this is one, because I can't remember if it was, and it was. So basically just on bait waves, especially on this character, you just run to the side and let them spawn so you can attack them in a line. Basically, we just don't want to stay in the center of the map. Walking into that attack was pretty bad, but fortunately we were bailed out by a lucky dodge. And again. Not that we would have died or anything, but it would have slowed my damage down and maybe put me in a worse spot in the rest of the run. Double Hourglass is pretty sick. I like this run because we got to get just maximum greedy with the hourglasses, with the starfish, and everything else. On the Jack, a cursed enhanced walrus is so tanky, so hard to take down. You know what? Let's see what level we can get to. I'm going to recycle the alien baby. We don't need it anymore. We'll take a regen potion. We'll roll. I'll take 4 range damage again when it shows up in a shop like that. We'll pick up all of these items and then reroll. Level our railgun to maximum. Roll again. Take a baby gecko. Roll again. Per seashell, yes please. I'll take a shackles as well. And let's buy Pocket Factory. I'm going to buy this railgun and do one reroll just to see if I can curse something. I could have locked that gun to try to get a cursed railgun, but we don't really need a cursed railgun. I mean, our weapons are, as you can see, doing enough by themselves already. It's more important that I just steadily improve my character. And with only one fishhook, it's just not worth locking an item that I could buy. Just make your character stronger every wave is the major... If there's like one lesson I could teach about this game, and generally speaking about roguelikes and games in general, just constantly make sure that you are making decisions that make you stronger. Obviously, that sounds, sort of obvious, but the way that people think about games is often not about improving their short-term power or making sure that they're consistently growing in power to meet the threat. They often think about the theoretical maximum end game, which is much less important than matching the strength that you need at the point where you need it. Let's roll here. We'll pick up the Peaceful Bee. The gun I don't need anymore. I will take a Cursed Penguin. I'll roll again. Buy Corrupted Shard. We're buying Scar just for fun, because now I'm at 234 XP gain, so that's we can get some pretty high XP. I'm locking this railgun because it is worth the shot at trying to curse it. And then we'll go to the next wave here. Tanking that hit was pretty bad as well, but our seashell is really going off. Now, the Jack's economy is always ridiculous, but this is one advantage of railguns, is we end up with one of the strongest possible endgame builds, because instead of having to separately buy defenses and attack, we buy both in the same stat, and so we just have enormous amounts of both by the endgame. Sure, we'll take an anvil, we'll pick up a whetstone, we'll take some damage, and then I'm gonna take attack speed. I think that matters more. I would have preferred that the railgun get cursed, but we'll take the curse ritual, we'll take the head injury. Roll here. Crystal is incredible for a railgun build. Of course, the extra attack speed helps you prevent taking hits, and both the weapon and the item want to avoid taking hits. So this will... And, more attack speed multiplying the increased damage means that we get more value from both of those stat upgrades. We'll buy Medkit, we'll roll here, and I'll take the Cyclops Worm. I'm going to buy the Mouse and lock Metal. Baby with a Beard Cursed, I don't think we want for the last wave. I'm going to buy the Scar, not because it's good, because we're just going into the boss wave, but just because at this point we're just trying to maximize our levels, and then we'll lock Insanity as well. That'll help us kill the bosses faster. Unless I get another Hourglass. If we get a triple Hourglass in the one run, that would be awesome. The other great thing about these high economy runs is that the video is going to go long. Like, we're going to hit probably 45, 50 minutes with the video. So everyone's going to assume I died in this run, but no, instead we just played extra waves and had so much money we got to buy a ridiculous number of items. I love Cursed Seashell. It just makes your attack so ridiculous. And we made 1,600 materials. We'll take a tree, recycle this, take the blindfold. I guess I'll take heavy bullets. I think this is damage positive for us. And then we'll pick up some attack speed. I'll take the luck, and I have capped movement speed, so let's just roll, and we'll take 12 dodge. Buying these items, and then rolling, and we'll buy a peaceful bee. I don't need the weird food. I can buy ritual. I can pass on all this stuff. Cursed mastery, sadly, not so much. We do have a coil, but I have reduced my knockback by a bit, but if I buy the second coil, that just fixes that problem. And there's the ghost outfit. We've been looking for this, so now we're at 70 dodge and 144 dodge for the purposes of damage. Scapegoat, I do think that this item is bad, but we're going to buy it just for fun here. And then we will roll, buy a tentacle, roll again, and, you know, I would take the tree or the glasses earlier. Glass cannon could help us kill the bosses faster, but let's just go into the last wave. See how fast we kill the bosses, especially if I can focus on them with all the projectiles from the seashell. And there we go. That's that. They vanished immediately. So we almost hit level 40. That's incredible. We had an early triple bag for 1,500 materials. 1,400 saved from coupon. We got 32 regen off of baby squid. Our guns dealt... why did this one do so much better? I guess it was the one that was closest to the bosses. But it's funny that this one railgun dealt 25,000 more damage than that one did. This is just... Railgun 2 is really where it's at. We had, what else? 350 extra materials from Loot Worm. That's pretty sick. Our fishhook did okay. As you can see, we had 0 curse items after the fishhook, but it did curse the crown for a really long time. But it did curse the crown, and that gave me 150 harvesting. We got 57 bonus damage from vigilante rings, getting double mouse and triple gentle alien also massively spiked our economy. We had... I liked the alien baby pickup. That was pretty good. The coils were +1 damage each. That's funny. We had the ashes giving us really good stats when we bought them. We had spyglass. The cursed spyglass saved us a huge amount of money as well. Starfish, of course, increasing our income even further. Double hourglass was the really fun part about this run. We got to play both of those and go into 2 bait waves a second time. So I'm glad I remembered to think about that before we actually went into it, because that is a spot where I could have died in this run. Anvil gave me some armor, fixed my weapons and gave us some armor, and then I wish Scapegoat told you how much damage it had taken. That would, I think, be a fun stat to have. And then 0 HP recovered from the tentacle, because we killed the bosses without taking a hit. Alright, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this run. I know I have. One of the wildest, greediest runs you can play in the game. As always, of course, if you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.